The challenge has been to not try to get through it, right? To try to get better. The days start to pile up on you, obviously, but when you look at it on the flip side, there's not many days left to practice before 8:31. So, we better remain a very humble team, and if we want to be confident come game time, we have to earn it right now. So, there's the added distraction of being home, being out of the dorms, and all those things. And I think our guys have maintained good focus so far. So, I've never questioned this team's work ethic. They work. So far it's been pretty good. Yeah, we can win. We can play and win with Chubb or Heinrich. We get a lot of reps here, and those guys are playing really good football. Chubb has made just massive strides. And I think probably a lot of it just has to, new coaching staff was trying to prove a lot in the spring, and I think he settled down and just played football. So he's been excellent in the passing game. He can really run, and Heinrich's passing ability is really developing. Getting through progressions, understanding protections, seeing the field. So I think both guys have had a really good camp. Both guys are dual threat quarterbacks. They can both run and throw. They're both 4-5 guys. So they give us a lot of flexibility. And then, Luke Longhole's here with us. Luke, we just had a threes live scrimmage at the end of practice, and he did a great job. He knows the system. He knows the scheme. So we have 4 guys that we feel like can go out and execute for us.
Is that D-line building? I know you said you want to play in waves if you can. Is it building up depth-wise? How you like it there?
Yeah, I won't know a lot about some of the younger kids until they actually play in a game. I can see their talent. I can see what they're going to be. I can see where they are right now in the transition on that spectrum from potential to performance. But I like them. I like the group. We've had some unfortunate things with Maverick and Brody, but for the most part, most of the guys are pretty healthy and playing at a pretty high standard. So I know we have at least 6 guys we can play with. I'd like to be at 8 or 9, and I feel that some of those guys are really kind of coming on. So, we have to just continue to grind through this. This isn't just about the first game or the second game. For me, it's about the entire season, and we're going to need a lot of guys. I remind the players there hasn't been a time for me as a head coach where a guy who started the year on the scout team doesn't end up playing. So we're trying to coach everybody.
Is Prince Willett, is he available?
No, he's injured.
Is that long-term?
No.
Coach, Ethan Nation, what have you seen from the young freshman in the return game, and what could he possibly bring for you in this
Yeah, I don't know what Ethan's role will be yet. He's very dynamic. He's an explosive player. He catches people's attention. He catches their eyes. He plays really hard on defense. He's aggressive. He kind of has a feel for getting the ball. He looks dynamic as a returner, though we haven't done a lot of live returns yet with him. Like we've done some thudded up ones. So young returners, it's always about their ball security and ability to protect the football. And so I don't have a great feel for that yet because he is a defensive player. But I can see his athleticism, his explosiveness, and his mindset. A lot of this is just about maturity. Everybody has the talent to play. Who has the mindset to prepare to play all the time? And he has that. He has that confidence and that swagger. That's humble enough to also coach still.
How do you feel about the way offense respond to the scrimmage?
Yeah, I think maybe I probably said it wrong after the scrimmage. My issues with the scrimmage were the procedure stuff. Like the football was pretty good. They played good football. The pass protecting was the best it's ever been. It's just, we ran into a phase of we spent so much time getting reps and less time sort of. You guys have been, I guess haven't really been there. We spent a lot more times with multiple fields going. We haven't spent probably enough time yet coming off the sideline, subbing off the sideline, all those different things. So that was sort of a little bit of a wake-up call. But that was all procedural stuff. In terms of the actual football, I thought it was good. So I'm pleased with where we are. As I told the team, you're right where they're supposed to be. There's. Just if the defense plays well, I'm the head coach. If the defense plays well, it means the offense didn't play good enough. If the offense plays well, it means the defense didn't play good enough. So, but yeah, I think the offense is playing good football. They just had a little more urgency in terms of running on and off the field. So, sometimes players will say things. I heard Jeff yesterday kind of, hey, we're a little sluggish. So it's really just more about running on and off the field and getting in the huddle and getting out of it. So I think the football was fine.
I know you're passionate about red zone offense. That's something that you care about. How have you guys done so far in camp?
We've had some good moments, some bad moments. Our defense is pretty difficult in the red zone with what they allow you to do, with the way that they play. And I've been pleased with the way we've run the ball through the red zone. Our creativity has been pretty good. I think we're right where we need to be. I mean, I'm always looking for big receivers, and I think down in that area. So I think guys like Malachi, Marcus. We're still waiting for Marcus Washington to come back. He's close. I expect him any day now. But those are the kind of guys I think can help you down there. Fedoni can help you down there. Some of those guys. So we want to score touchdowns, not field goals. So that's our whole mindset. And I like the way we're proceeding. The quarterbacks get a lot of work down there. They're doing a good job managing that situation down there because it's completely different for a quarterback.
In that line between throw touchdowns but don't turn it over, how aggressive have you tended to be before you got here?
Yeah, I just think it comes down to the quarterback play, right? For me, we divide the red zone up into sort of a high red zone area where if you take a sack, you're out of field goal range. So quarterback has to be really cognizant down there about kind of having a sniper's mentality of touchdown, check down, not scrambling around and taking sacks. And then as we get down through the low red, understanding where to throw the football. We want to throw the ball the front pylon low, back line high, and there the quarterback can scramble around because a sack won't knock him out of field goal range. So, sort of all the nuances that we teach, maybe are a little bit new to some of the quarterbacks in terms of hearing them, but we get enough reps down there that they're doing a good job. And I'm always going to try to run the ball in first. There's nothing more demoralizing on defense than having someone run a touchdown in. It's one thing to get tricked. I played for Coach Paterno. If someone ran a trick play against us and scored a touchdown in the game, he'd expect us to laugh. Like, hey, they know they're not good enough to beat us. So we don't worry about things like that. But when someone runs the ball in, or when we run the ball in, it's demoralizing. So we'll start there, but we're going to turn Jeff loose. We trust him. We're going to let him go play. Sorry, guys.
Ben Scott, just dissecting sort of all the schemes and stuff he's seeing from teams like that. How is he helping us take the command center now?
Yeah, Ben sees a lot. Ben's very smart, instinctive as well. Sees so much from our defense. They're never in the same front twice. We have big, powerful interior D linemen. They're on his nose quite a bit. So both blocking and also from an intelligence football intelligence standpoint, I think he does an excellent job.
How did you see that Thomas, just the progression that he's made, and as far as being comfortable, this is now the longest time, quite a bit, that he's been able to be healthy in practice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know Thomas tore his ACL the first time. He took just kind of a really unfortunate low shot to his knee. It wasn't like the knee gave out. I mean, it's one of the most gruesome things I've ever seen. And just took a hit to the knee last year. So, I think anybody would have blown it out. So I think for him, he's done such a good job rehabbing that I don't notice any difference. He timed him in the summer at 255. He was low 4.5s. I mean, he's a freak athlete. He's probably as hard on himself as I am on myself. So we have a lot in common in that regard. But what I'm seeing from him is, if he has a bad play or makes a mistake while he's still angry with himself, he's starting to quickly say what's next and get over it. And he's made some plays at the end of practices in the 2-minute down in the red zone, to Sam's point. He's made some plays down there to win win scrimmages for us or team periods. So I'm really happy with where he's coming. He's in there every day with the coaches working to get better. He wants to be here, and I think he will be.
Coach, how long have you guys been using the new turf space? How beneficial is that now to have that available with new grass?
Yeah, I don't know many teams that have the setup we have. I mean, we go to practice in the afternoon, and thanks to Campus Rec, they've been great to us. We're able to have, we use both indoors for walkthrough, offenses in one, defenses in another, then we come together. Like, no one has that, so not many people have that. Maybe someone else does. But adding that turf space has been great. I like to let turf settle. I like to let it rain a couple times on it, so mainly we're using it for individual drills and for the injured guys as they're in the pit over there maintaining their fitness. But I think it's going to be a great space for us, and I'm grateful that it's been put in.
You mentioned Malachi Coleman. How important are these next couple of weeks, not only for him, but the rest of the freshman wideouts to get acclimated to this offense, considering you might need to do so?
Yeah, I'm giving them all an opportunity to play. I don't know that we need any of the freshmen to play at wideout. We'd love to have them play if they're ready, but the older guys know how to play. That first game, the team we're playing, that's gonna be a grown man game. They play real football. If I told our older guys, you guys want to win, you better see a bunch of veteran players out there on special teams. You can't subcontract out winning to young players. Now, some young players will be ready, some won't. What you're hoping is that we're just going to give our guys chances to get reps and play. And if they're ready, they're ready. If they're not, they're not. Because otherwise, the freshmen, they'll start to put a ton of pressure on themselves, and they'll start, they can't sleep at night because they're so worried about making a mistake. And this is the game of mistakes, you know what I mean? So the older guys have figured that out. So if Malachi's ready, great. If not, he's going to be a great player here. He's an amazing young man with what the things he's done and overcome in his life. If he's ready, great. If Jalen Lloyd's ready, great. If Jeremiah or Jaden's ready, great. But the older guys are the ones who will lead us through, and I think one or two of those guys will step up. I really do, and be ready. And maybe it's Game 6, maybe it's Game 7. The new rule now you can play 4 games plus the postseason. So hopefully these guys get to play five or so games and go from there.
What's that? With Teddy out, how's that left tackle picture for the team?
Yeah, it's been Turner. I mean, Turner's the only left tackle I've known since I've been here, right? So I think Turner's playing well. Gunner's done a nice job with the second team. I think Teddy, told me today he's hoping that he'll be back here soon. So he's taking the next phase on in his rehab. Teddy to me, I don't want to bring him back a day too early. I'd rather a day too late than a day too early. But I'm sure he'll be ready here soon. And Turner's playing really good football, and we got a lot of confidence in Turner. And as I said, he's the only guy I've ever, me being in the huddle here in the play, it's the only guy I've ever seen at left tackle with the one. So.
Will there be more single-digit stuff this week?
Yeah, we'll probably vote in the next day or so, depending on how days go, right? Like, I have a little tradition, my daughters are always at the beach, and when they get here, I always let the team go early. So last night I let everyone go early when they got here. So we didn't have a team meeting last night. So today and tomorrow, one of those days, we'll vote for a couple more and see what happens. I'm proud of Anthony. Anthony, we all know he can run the football at a high level. There's also a lot more to playing running back than that, and I see him developing in those areas. He's been very dependable in terms of being where he's supposed to be, taking care of his body, handling all his business. He did an internship this summer, and the place where he did the internship, he's working with kids. They said he's one of the best interns they've had in a long time. So he's a kind-hearted, wonderful young man. And he's run with the twos a lot, and he's just battled and made plays. And so now he's running with the ones a lot. So, our running back situation, I couldn't be happier with Gabe, Ramir, Anthony. I think Emmett Johnson's doing a great job. Quentin Ives, Trevin Lubin are doing a really nice job. So I think we could get down to the 5th string and still play winning football.
Good.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.